Welcome to this video. It's designed for people who have never touched the new tester, and it'll give you an idea of how to use it. First of all, the front panel. You can see the tester there. At the bottom there are 16 ports. The bottoms are all of the row are all RJ45s, and the top are SFP pluses, and you can run at 100 megs, 1 gig or 10 gig. What I've done here is loop back ports 15 and 16 for this particular video. Simple test. Keep things real simple. I've got 2 ports left and right and the same subnet, and we're just going to run some traffic across that. Starting the application, click on the shortcut. I am letting this just run through to give you an idea. It takes a small amount of time to bring up. It's running on a Windows server, as you can see in the bottom right, but equally it runs on a Windows laptop. And we're about to get ready to rock and roll. One of the first things we've got to do is select ports. To remember those 16 ports, so we're going to add some tester ports into this particular video. So we select add port, select the chassis, and then it'll connect to the chassis, and then you'll see the ports. All 16 of them will pop up. The red ones are free and the green ones are in use. It is multi-user, so that's why you see some in green. So I've just added those ports 15 and 16, and I'm going to rename them port A and port B because I like things nice and simple. Once we've done that and hit OK or clicked OK, the tester will go off and reset those 2 ports. So now we've got to wait for them to reboot. Once they get rebooted, you'll see it change on the screen there. The top window is really for configuration, and the bottom grey window is really where all the results are. And that seems to be a theme across the rest of the tester. So things are coming up. Remember, I've just looped back these 2 ports. Take a moment just to come up. So now we've reserved or added 2 ports. Now we've got to come up with an idea of how to connect them together for this test. And to do that, you have to select something called scenario. And this is where we start to build our lab up. So first of all, you press the little cross, and then pick off on the bottom left port number A or port A. Add that to the right. And that's pretty much it for the first part. You don't add both ports at the same time, just add 1 port for the moment. This allows you to pick what protocols you want to play with. Well, obviously we'll just go for IP4. And that's that. And then we'll click on the other side there and pick up port B, add, and we get the same thing. IP4. So by default, you get 10 IP addresses on different subnets, so 10 different subnets on either end. I don't want to play around with that, so I'm going to select, I'm just showing you there where they are. So that little box 10 times, just make it 1, and then OK, and do the same for the technology number 2 on the right there, or B. So now I'm making it nice and simple. I've got 1 host on the left and 1 host on the right. So let's just go back to the original test drawing there. So you've got 100.1.0.2 on the left and 100.1.0.1 on the right. So it's fairly simple, but it illustrates what you can do. So now we're going to set up the traffic streams. The traffic streams are the packets whizzing between A and B and between B and A. To do that, you select traffic, and I'm going to select create traffic, and that first selection there. Now, okay, so basically you work your way down to do this. So what I mean by that is I'm going to give it a name, A to B, and then the windows on the right there, that's the source and that's the destination. So I'm going to select technology 1 and technology 2 as they call it, and then I want it bi-directional, so it's both ways, and then enter that into the little window below. So now I've told the tester that's where I want to play. Now we want to consider the frame size and what rate and what not and so on. This is an opportunity to, if you want to put a UDP or a TCP header in there, you can do. I'm not sure what that is at the moment, but here we are. Frame setup. So here you set the frame size, make it 1500 for example, but you can go to different types of internet mix, iMix, and all sorts of permutations in between there. But we're just going to stay at 1500 bytes for now. Next, and now we're going to set up the rate or how fast are we going to send this traffic. And there are various options here. You can have it in megabits per second there, so 800 megabits. You can change it by the drop downs, all that stuff. And I think that's it there for now. Hit next, and then this is where we want to select what we want to measure or for in our results. So I'm just going to select the two or three variables there. Next. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to leave that alone, and then click on the view and whatnot, and it should do a verification in a moment. So we hit next. Validate, I should say. And it just checks everything's logically correct. Now we're ready to transmit our traffic, and you can see there the both sides. You've got two rows for left to right and right to left. And I think just off screen I've clipped it a bit there by mistake. There should be a button to say start traffic, and you can see it's applying traffic now. Eventually in the bottom window you'll see the results of what we're doing. Notice the little tiny arrows. That means that it's actually transmitting. You can just transmit one way if you want, or have it both ways normally. And now you can get different visibilities on what's going on in terms of the rate, how many packets per second, and if there's any packet drops and so on, and the latency as well. This is just showing how you can fine-tune your results. And you can see now this traffic is flowing, and this is going to bring up some fancy gas gauges or dials to show you what's going on. So on the left hand side, the two dials are showing the frame rate, and the throughput is over on the right. And then we can also see, there's my port A, port B, either end, and then there's my addressing. And you can click on the different tabs and it'll show you there's any drops, any latency, and so on. There we are, loss. So we've got 0 loss, which should be, it's just a loop back. Throughput, how long it takes to get across, well that should be 0 anyway, but that's important. If you're going through a satellite, you'll see it much bigger than that. Yeah, so that's the port stats. So if you had more than one traffic flow, you would see the aggregate of all those on the port. That's it really. The idea of this is not to give any detailed information. It's just to show you how to kick the tires and get something going basically. And when you save, all of the results are saved, and you can go back in and look at those results for documentation and whatnot. So I've stopped the traffic now. I'm going to exit the application, and asking me, do you want to save it? And there we are, just give it a name. And press save, and Bob's your uncle. That's it. Thank you very much, chaps. This is me saying goodbye to you.